Good freaking morning. This is what I should be doing, I think. A nice 7:35 departure for a cheeky little arm pump, followed by some cardio, followed by coming back home, getting some meals, and then just repeating the process. You know what I'm saying? Oh dear. So today's what? The 3rd? Yeah, so 8 days away from the LA Fit Expo. So if you're gonna be there, I guess I'll end up seeing you. But if not, they'll be there next year, and they'll be the year after that. And there's still the Arnold. You know, if you're a little more on the northeast side of things, I'd highly recommend going to an expo eventually. Right? Everybody who always says like, oh, you know, I've never been to the Arnold before, or I've never gone to the Olympia before. If you're into the gym a little bit, it really is something to see. I'm probably getting a little spoiled because of like it's becoming more normal for me to go to that sort of thing. But I still remember the first Arnold I went to. That would have been 3 Arnolds ago. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, and not even like the actual setup and event itself, but it's just crazy seeing these guys walk around. Like, I'm 99% sure this is his name. Like, you've never seen Brent Swanson in full makeup, just looking like a total freak on your way to the YMCA. It just doesn't happen, you know. So if you've never been, I'd highly recommend it. You know, get a crew going. Maybe you're pretty tight with some guys at your gym. They'll all want to go. You know, break the ice, propose the idea. So, just there's a little tip if that ever lines up and ends up being feasible. So, yeah, in terms of dieting progress, yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling rather good. So after the last 2 days being a little more refeed-ish. I'm not talking like crazy cheat day refeed. I'm talking like 3,200 calories rather than what I've kind of been sticking to, because I could tell I was sort of crashing a little bit. This morning's weight was 235. So 2 mornings ago I was 231. So holy shit, Sam, you're 4 pounds heavier. Aren't you screwed now? Aren't you completely screwed because now you just gained 4 pounds? Not exactly. Not freaking exactly. Because I guarantee all of those 4 pounds of weight change, for one, is still some food in my stomach, because I ate a lot of food later in the day because I was kind of busy during the main part, so I wasn't really eating a ton. But it's also just water and carbs. You know, don't freak. After having a little bit of extra calories dieting, if you've been legitimately dieting and not lying to yourself, yeah, you're basically, let's just say you're primed to absorb some sugar water into your pecs and your biceps and your quads and everything else. So, once in a blue moon, you know, once in a whatever, some refeed's going to do you good. It kind of helps keep your metabolism up so you don't start really slowing down and feeling like too sluggish or anything. It's like the bro sciencey way to describe it. But it also lines up as just, my refeed isn't always like scheduled. Like, I don't say, okay, every 3rd week I'm gonna have a day where I eat an extra 2,000 calories or an extra 1,000 calories. How it lines up for me, which is a little bit kind of, what's a good word? I want to say impromptu, but that sounds kind of stupid. Just a little intuitive for me is like, by the time I can tell I've kind of hit a new morning low weight, really flat, really depleted, like maybe I did a little extra cardio the day before, and I've been on my calorie goals for the last like 5 or 6 days, normally that's a little bit of a cue of like, all right, I better eat a little something, you know, because I want to be flat, but I don't want to be totally bone dry, depleted flat, you know. Like, how I could describe it is, if I'm bulked, I want to be running on a full gas tank. So if I'm in a bulk, I want all of my, you know, sugar water containers in my whole body, my glycogen stores, to be totally full as much as possible, just so I've got as much ATP production and just everything else. That carbs equals energy equals recovery equals gains, right? If we kind of put it really simply. So when I'm bulking, tank full of carbs all the time, to the point where you actually kind of spill over the tank and start putting on body fat, because shit, man, I can put on a little body fat. I'm going to deal with it later when I diet. I want to make sure that my gas tank is full when I'm bulking so I can actually really maximize my growth. When I'm dieting, I want to be floating around like a quarter tank. I want to be floating around like a fifth of a tank of gas, you know. So I'm still eating carbs. I'm eating like, 250, 300 grams of carbs a day. But for my size, that's on the lower end. That's definitely on the lower end. So I'm not walking around like fully inflated, pumped, like I will be whenever I really carb up, and probably, I'll see. Last time I think I had like 12 or 1,300 grams of carbs during my kind of carb up phase. But I didn't even carb up like really methodically. I just kind of, started grubbing. So this time with a real kind of plan in place of like, okay, I'm going to have 100 grams of carbs every however many hours or whatever, like just to really, because I want to, this prep I'm trying to maximize, at least compared to the last one. I want everything to be better. So I'm going to have a real carb up plan. It might be 2,000 grams of fucking carbs. I'll see. I'm not exactly sure. So that's going to freaking fill me up. I'm going to look like not a totally different guy, but I'm going to be in a very different state and look the morning after that. But in order to get there, I've got to run around on empty carb-wise, so that, if I'm like a hybrid vehicle, sure, I got low gas, I'm probably going to lean a little more on my batteries, which would kind of be the body fat, if you catch what I'm saying there, So there's I'll try to come up with some better analogies for the dieting, because it's like when you're dieting, you've got a charger and you've got a portable battery, and the portable battery represents your body fat. So when you eat food, is you plug in your phone into the wall, right? You're getting energy straight into the system. But when you're running low on energy on your phone and you plug into the portable battery, now you're sucking out energy from there, but the system is losing energy net, So I'll try to come up with some better iterations of what that's like. But in terms of the actual lift, I'm not super picky right now. Give me some curls, give me some push downs, and I'm gonna be a freaking happy camper. I'm not gonna go too crazy heavy, and even with triceps in general, I kind of have I don't want to say learned, but I think I've changed my approach, and I think it's been working. So now, instead of like, okay, let's put 4 plates on the stack and start off instantly with straight bar, not even doing, like, maybe barely getting 90-degree bend in my triceps, barely, if that, and then just pumping out reps. My defense of that kind of set is I did feel a crazy amount of tension, and my triceps did get worked and pumped, so it's like it still did something for sure. But I think I get a lot more out of doing the rope a bit lighter squeezing, just because I don't wrench my elbows, and I feel like it's just much more like actual tricep activation, Like, I think triceps need a little more finesse than I had been giving them for a couple of years of my training. Like, if you go back and watch the first few months, even probably the first year of arm days, biceps hasn't changed much. Do some heavy curls, do some lighter squeezing curls of a couple different varieties. You can't really, it's hard to go wrong with biceps unless you're really doing nasty, gross reps. But for tries, I used to do just pump, not a huge stretch, just kind of what I now would consider sort of trashier reps. Excuse me. So it's just kind of one more little angle of something where I think I've changed over time and benefited from that change. So today's going to be some rope, some single arm, maybe some overhead, but I don't do it. I kind of back off on overhead extensions, skull crushers are kind of out of the question, just because they will wrench your elbows up depending on your anatomy. I'm sure there's some guys who can do crazy heavy skull crushers all the time and it never messes with their elbows at all. And I guess to you, I say, congrats, man, badass. But for me, if I started doing heavy skull crushers, it would just get me, and then I'd have like tender elbows, and then I'm not going to be able to go as hard. Like, it would just suck, you know. So lighter cable work, maybe a little overhead machine, we'll see. But within a period of probably 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less, arms are going to be completely pumped. So my only question is how am I going to orient this lift? Am I going to do tries then buys? Am I going to do 3 sets of triceps, 3 sets of biceps, 2 sets of triceps, 2 sets of biceps, 1 set of tries, 1 set of buys, and a superset? That's a combo I really like. And then just, you know, do as many supersets as necessary to feel like you really did it. Or something in between. And I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer at this exact moment in the car. I'll see once I actually get into the gym, because then the weight will speak to me, in the sense that once I start warming up, I'll be able to have a better idea of how I really feel, and I can adjust the weight accordingly. You know, I'm not listening for like a message or voices. It's more so just a feeling by, you know, doing a couple 20-pound curls and 10-pound push downs. And usually the cables will tell me, they'll say, do a superset arm day, do a double set superset arm day, or whatever version of whatever, you know. But I think nothing else to say. Let's just get this morning lift started. All right, I'm decided. Push down, curl, push down, curl, push down, curl, until completion, right? Until completely pumped. So tries, shit, man, I'm only doing 120. So less than half the stack, just barely. And I'm cool with that. I was just talking to a guy about triceps, and, you know, half the stack, lightish squeezing, really trying to pull with like the back of my tricep, like the long head. I mean, shit. Now, I think this beats just a crazy heavy set just for its own sake. At least, you know, for the most part. But this is still the starter set, so I'm sure I'll probably move up in weight a little bit. But let's get this one started. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely coming back to this, but let's do an incline curl now. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. 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 Okay. Holy shit. All right, let's do that combo a few more times, and then we'll move on to something else. Back to this curl. Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh crap. All right. Yeah, one more of each of those. And then we can do something else. Okay. Holy crap. Yeah. Back to the 50s, and we can change it up. Okay. Holy shit. All right. Not exactly a bar pushdown, but closer to it than the rope. So this is a little bit of a hybrid because I'm getting the overhand like straight bar press where you're extra strong so I can load more weight. But I'm also getting that separating action because these cables can move. So I get an extra nasty squeeze too. So my mental image that I'm imagining is I'm trying to pull my hands not just down. Like I'm not pushing the weight down. I'm trying to imagine pulling my hands back, like behind my hips and out a little. Because when I do it like that, instead of just here, I get a lot more long head, and that's the big ass chunky triceps that you really want to grow and makes them look bigger. All right, come on. Yeah. Yeah. One kind of combo set action. Now, preacher, I'm not going to do one more of those, but that one was okay. A basic ass preacher will be good. I'm not going to squeeze and hold it for like a full 2 seconds or anything, but I will kind of be a good combination. Not too nasty, but not too slow. Kind of that sweet spot right in the middle. All right. Yeah. Two. Okay. Oh, crap. Okay, one more of those. But I'm going to switch to a straight bar pushdown instead. Okay. Ooh. All right, back to the preacher. All right. Actually, let me back this up. There we go. Two. Two. Yeah. Okay, holy crap. Ooh. What the heck do I do now? Give me a second. I gotta do some thinking. All right, so after that third set, I don't know what caused this, but I feel like I kind of started to lose momentum in the lift. Like the pump was not improving. Like those last two back and forths of the preachers, I don't know, they just didn't really click. So before now, I did a few reps of the rope and then 20-pound curls, and the rope and 20-pound curls, 10 back and forth twice. So, I mean, I'm pumped. Like I can tell that I'm pumped, but something about that return, the ROS, return on sets per pump, a little off, just a little off. But that's okay, because I still know I brought it, still got a badass arm pump, and I'm gonna go do my cardio, gonna maintain my calorie deficit, do my second session of cardio. I'm good. You know, some days the pump's a little more elusive than others. That's cool. It's part of the chase. You know, that's why they call it fishing, not catching. It's not always a guarantee. But let's see how we're looking. There we go. Oh, goodness. Okay, that was, let me hit one more, but that might have been, that's up there top 10 craziest front double buys that I've ever hit. Oh my goodness. That's what I want to see. So, not even really posing, just kind of doing a little freaking All Might stance. Like having my arms feel like they're just a bigger chunk of my body than normal, especially relative to my waist. I mean, that's what I want to see, you know? So, holy shit. What other poses even freaking are there? Oh man, All right, well, that's sick for me. Midsection, still gradually more and more peeled as time is passing. And I'm even a little bit extra heavy today, so that's solid. For 62 days out, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, honestly, if I just water cut, depleted, and then carbs up tomorrow, fuck. I mean, I might be close to a similar look as I was for the Arnold Amateur and for the Legends Classic in Vegas, the qualifier show I did. So my little leanness test, because I'm not like, I don't do a DEXA scan a week or like an in-body underwater density test. I will. I think that'll be fun to go like look at and see the numbers of. But my gauge, not only just visually, like, okay, how am I actually looking? Let me hit a little most muscular first before I say this. Is how much pinchable skin I've got on my stomach. So I've still got like a chunk on, like I can tell this is my thickest section right here, lower back, covering up my erectors and everything. So there's room for, thinness of this kind of fat layer. But my stomach's usually my test. So it used to be that this was not so defined. Like probably, like pinchable skin right here 3 months ago, easily 3 times as thick as it is right now. Like I can actually kind of grab, like even all this stuff just moving it around, that's cool for me. So what I really want to see is essentially back of hand skin, right? If you're relatively lean, the back of your hand, not too fat, that's really just your skin. That's what I want to feel everywhere else, So morning of the shows that I did, I had that in my stomach. So we're getting there, right? Slowly but surely. It's not going to be an overnight deal, but over the next 2 months, if I compare lift after lift after lift, not only, I've already done that for these past 4 months-ish. So I took my time with this prep. The last one I kind of rushed, so I wanted to really make sure I was on my game, and I feel like I had to cram. But yeah, man, just because I've been dieting for a while does not mean there isn't room, Like I've got we're getting some cool grain and detail and everything else, but do not waver. It's not slowing down, not at all. So I'm gonna go do my cardio somewhere, and I'll see you in the freaking car. There we go. Yeah, so that was quick. That was a pretty freaking quick cardio session, which to be expected. You got your phone going, you got a video playing, you got music going. It's very easy to distract yourself if you kind of catch what I'm saying, to the point where, 45 minutes, I'm not going to say it passed like nothing, that would be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was definitely quick, like if you've ever actually camped out on the bike with your phone a little bit, you let's just say you get used to it pretty quick. But yeah, that arm day, I don't know. I think it was because I didn't eat anything before. So normally I'll eat at least something, just have something on my stomach. But I had a little bit of extra food last night, so I kind of counted that as some pre-workout carb. So I just, kind of went straight to the gym a little earlier than normal too. So I wonder if that maybe kind of gave me that sort of feeling. But either way, good pump. Just maybe it didn't feel like the best pump, So that's a very different feeling. Like a crazy pump versus moderately pumped. Like, shit. That's hot versus boiling, So even though it wasn't perfectly whatever, still a good lift. And like I was saying, still did my cardio. So, it's a little too early to say for sure, but I'm pretty dang certain I'm going to get under my calorie deficit goals like I'm aiming for after my total caloric intake for the day. That's all I want. That's what I'm freaking aiming for. So today is already adding up for some solid progress. And last night was basically a good confirmation that what's been going on has been working. And the reason I say that is because I was doing cardio in the basement, and just 10 minutes in, I was already getting really visible quad veins. Like nothing. Actually, yeah, it was pretty crazy. I don't know if I'll remember, but maybe I'll overlay the photo right now. But I took a picture. Whoa. So obviously that's with cardio, kind of extra blood flow, your heart's beating and everything. So it's a little extra wild than normal. Like, that's just not a cold shot. But the fact that they're that visible anyway is still pretty freaking cool. So that's about what I want to see. So I assume by next month, lower back, sides, quad grain, maybe even a little bit of glute striation should be making themselves apparent. And then one more month after that, I don't know what the hell it's going to bring, but it'll definitely, the freak factor will continue to increase. But I feel like I said this a couple days ago, it's kind of a not super smooth, gradual change. Sometimes I don't really notice that I'm much leaner until, maybe a week has passed or 2 weeks has passed, and then something is different. Like maybe I'm a little extra, grainy or veiny or something, or maybe just whatever. There's like a million things that could be going on that could make me feel a little like, whoa, I actually am getting pretty lean, stuff like that. So it's sometimes you don't know what it is. So even if you might feel like your diet's a little slow, like, dude, come on, I don't feel like I'm losing any weight, look at the setup. Look at your cardio consistency. If you've got a macro tracking app, have you been counting your calories the last few weeks, the last few days? And if you have, like, if those things are in order, you kind of just have to wait a little, And if by then, by maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you really aren't seeing anything, then that's just a cue. You got to up your game. Maybe up it from 30 minutes to 45 minutes of cardio a day. Maybe drop your carbs down from 400. Shit, man, if you're not losing weight, you got to drop it down to 300. Just little things like that. But the main changes you're going to actually need to make to break through the scale plateau, it's not just training harder. Obviously, that's going to help. But more energy, less food, man. So that's kind of, that's as much as anybody can do. So right now, with the 45 minutes of cardio in the morning and at night, or at least, earlier in the day and then at night, I think that's about right with the workout in terms of my energy expenditure. For me to do much more cardio than that, I think would kind of start eating into my recovery, and I wouldn't just be, doing like productive cardio. It might be a little too much. So that only leaves me one option, right? Gradually reducing my calorie intake. So I've been kind of bouncing around like the 2,600 number. That's been working out pretty well, but I'm sure there'll be a point where I'm going to have to limit it to 24. It'll be 23, 22. We'll just kind of, have to see. But as long as I do, and as long as I actually, really track everything and don't let, like 3 bags of Skittles just pass through the grates without tracking it, well, I'm going to know what's going on. I'm going to have a full accounting of all the food that's going in. And if I weigh myself every morning, then I have a, basic result data pool that's telling me, okay, all right, I've been eating this much and my weight is changing like this, right? What does that tell me? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do that math. And there's usually only 2 options, or 2 results. One, shit, man, losing a pound a week, I'm good, keep going. Or, haven't really lost any weight for the last like 2 weeks. And I look the same too. It's not all just the scale. You do have to kind of judge based on how you look in the mirror as well. But if visually and then scale changes, you're not really seeing anything, you got to change something in the setup. So like I said a second ago, either more cardio or less food. And by less food, I mean, less carbs and fats. Keeping your protein around 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's kind of about the sweet spot. Any more probably won't help you too much. Any less probably won't help you too much either. Just right around that pound is a good number. So I'm gonna go get some food. I got some ground beef waiting for me. I'm gonna make 4 pounds at once, probably slam 1 pound just because I'm pretty freaking hungry right now, and then get ready for some more cardio tonight. Cardio is the theme of my next 2 months. I did the math. I've got about 3.85 or so days worth of straight cardio to get finished. And that might seem like a lot. That might seem like a lot, but since it's, it's just 45 minutes at a time, you can play on your phone for 45 minutes. I almost guarantee you spend 45 minutes in the bathroom one day because you ate something that didn't agree with you, right? 45 minutes, you can make that shit happen, man, so whether you will or not, there's two different kind of lifters in the world. There's a million, but in this instance, there's two. There's the guys who are doing their cardio, and then the guys who aren't, right? So just choose wisely in terms of which group you want to be in. But I think that's all I got. So I'm going to see you for, get some quads tomorrow. So that should be a pretty gnarly quad day. So I'll see you then.